shit. Here we go again.
Low, low, man. Low, low, man.
You like contracts, right? You're a contract guy.
I read.
Are you guys enjoying the stream today?
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Andrew Esquire on the road for the next 10 to 12 days as my apartment's getting worked on in Bangkok, but I'm still in the lovely kingdom of Thailand here. And of course, this is Illegal Mindset, where we teach you to be your own judge. This one is going to be a good update, and I wanted to make sure to do it as a live just so I can interact with you guys and also have some commentary, kind of let the vibe flow. But it is going to be mainly on this topic. I am going to have some Somali stuff for tomorrow. He was kind of crazy last night, did a bunch of crazy stuff. That's going to wait for tomorrow's episode. Today, I just want to focus on Sly Kane, and then I have a minor update about Vitali himself, which may be a future episode as well. So we're going to talk about the Vitali coverage kind of as we go and some updates I've gotten on the Vitali case. Of course, I am 100% committed to going after all the nuisance streamers in Asia and really all over the world and staying on their case all the way through. And this includes going and hunting down their associates. So just like Johnny Somali and his prime associate, Han Jong-yu, aka Hank Yu, are both well within fair bounds of criticism and critique, I believe, and I am convinced, that Vitali and all those that aided him, not just as cameraman, but the others, many of which we don't even have their names, but the others that helped out to make the crimes happen, to enable the nuisance streaming. All of these people are fair game, and in fact, they are fair game for criminal charges as well. And we have criminal charges today, which is amazing. We can talk about real charges. So we're going to get to this today as we go. Batten, welcome as a new member. And DJ Case coming up with a big 10 Legal Mindset memberships. Thank you so much.
Yes, 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 yes. Yes.
I'm also going to turn off the tracking on my camera so it doesn't give you guys seasickness, because I move around way too much for tracking mode. It will go crazy. So we're gonna fix it right here. We're gonna fix it right here, and hopefully that works out just fine. Also, Neko Girl 862 says, woke up just in time for a live. Let's go. Let's do it today. Glad you woke up. It's 8:15 p.m. here in Thailand, but I know, it's morning time over there in the States or wherever you guys are, Europeans, wherever you're at. It's good to see you. Just pile on in, smash the like button. I do know this is a late notice stream. It kind of put it up with like 10 minutes notice. So, another thing you can do is like the video. You can also retweet it or share it out. That actually really helps out as well, and it's completely free. Ewu Inu says, good morning. I hope you and your crew are well. Yeah, we're doing really great, actually. And I want to say thank you to all those that have helped me, because I am getting some big help from folks both in the Philippines and in Korea to do the coverage that I do. I could not do this coverage without people helping me. I'm not trying to take the credit here myself. In fact, without Filipinos and Filipinas that help me out with this coverage of Vitali, I cannot do this. And expats as well. Shout out to my man Eric. He sent me a lot of information on what's going on, some of which I'm going to keep a little tight-lipped for now, some of which we'll talk about it towards the end of the episode. But there's a lot of information that comes to me from expats and expertise. I am not an expert on everything. For example, I'm not a Filipino lawyer, I'm not a Korean lawyer or a Thai lawyer, but it's awesome to have people that are reach out to you so I can gather that information and communicate it out to everybody. And that really is amazing. And honestly, that's what I love about doing this, is it feels like being on a team and we have a goal. And the goal is to take these people down. It's a very concrete thing. I also had a goal to not cut my finger while I was slicing a mango today, but I screwed up that goal. So L Andrew on that one. Luxurion for 250 pesos, which is, of course, a week, more than a week's ration Vitali over there, or like about a week's ration for him. Rations, still right out now. So might dip out somewhere, but I'll watch that. Cool. That's fine. Thank you for stopping by. Also, Rayobi said it's funny how RKI, Ramsey Khalid Ismail, aka Johnny Somali, praised the CCP and DPRK, and yet when the police stopped them from destroying the Union Jack and Japanese original flag, RKI called them communist for stomping on the flags. Yeah, that is weird, right? That is really weird. We'll talk about the RKI fine that he got the other day tomorrow. There's a little bit more to that than you guys think, and a lot of other channels, to be honest, are spreading misinformation. Ramsey Khalid Ismail is not detained, so any thumbnail that says he's detained, he was not detained at all. And some people will try to say, well, the police stopped him temporarily. That's temporary detention. No, come on. You know what you're doing. That's actually misleading clickbait. He wasn't even brought to the station. In fact, he ran away and Hank was given the ticket. So, frankly, RKI is still out there. He's still going to be committing more crimes. So we can look forward to much more RKI, Ramsey Khalid Ismail coverage in the future because he's just running around still. Great Milk Steak for 5 says, good evening from Japan. Love your coverage. Got to see Johnny and his kin get punished. Yeah, it really is crazy. Really is crazy. And also, I want to say thank you to everybody out there who also has said hi to me and very nice. I ran into 3 people in the last day that have recognized me. And so my anonymity is kind of shrinking now. But those that ran into me in Bangkok, thank you. And the guy that ran into me at the gas station while I'm in a taxi. Also, what's up to that guy? That was totally random. But I really appreciate all the fans coming out and saying hi. And you know, as long as you come up and you're respectful, I'm always cool with you. And I think that's the Asia way, right? If you come correct, you come respectful, we're good. Everything's always going to be good. And I'm always happy to meet people. The Great Milk Steaks is good. Oh, no, I got the one already. And did I miss another one? No, I think I got that there too. And shout out to all the, I know there's a lot of Filipinas and Filipinos abroad, and you're in other countries as well. Shout out to that community as well. It's really amazing community. And it's amazing to see people super chatting me with all these different currencies. And they're like, oh, I'm Filipino or I'm Filipina. I'm in the UK. I'm in Australia. I'm in the US. I'm in Japan. I'm somewhere else. It's really awesome. I can't remember, so thanks for caring, Andrew from Scotland. Hey, cheers. Hope you're hope everything's good in Scotland. What time of year is it right now? I guess it'd be really rainy in Scotland right now, right? It's still a little bit cold, I guess. Phoenix DS for 10 says, morning, Legal Mindset. Imagine fleeing your country because you're wanted and not wanting to return to face the consequences. What was Sly thinking? To be honest, like, he knew. And we're going to talk about this. He knew that these were coming and he fled because they came down the pike. And he got out before they locked him down or caught him. And I think he might even have been tipped off to a certain extent that these are coming or knew these were coming. You know, he heard from, he said, oh, my neighbor's a cop. Well, maybe his neighbor came over and said, buddy, they're coming for you. And, he got away. Who knows? King Buck also became a new member. All right, so let's get into what happened here today. So in case you guys don't know the guy we're going to be talking about today is Sly Kane. He is a kick streamer. We'll pull up his current look right now. So this is how he currently looks right now. He has changed his hair color because he is trying to hide out. So here he is. Now he is now in Taiwan. So he is hiding out. He fled from the Philippines to Taiwan. This is Sly Kane, Christopher P. Dantes. He was the cameraman for Vitali. He knew what he was doing when he was doing it. He said we committed a bunch of crimes verbally. So he had knowledge that crimes were broken. He then proceeded to hang out in the Philippines countryside and then ran away to Taiwan. So now this is him in Taiwan. That's why it's the thumbnail, that photo on the thumbnail. He's changing his hair color to try to confuse people, wearing a hat. Really interesting strategies here. Now, the thing is, before this, when I previously covered this, some people were trying to debate and saying, well, he's not really wanted. He's not really wanted. There might be an investigation, but he's not really wanted. And one thing on this channel that I am very specific about is legal definitions. There is investigation there is maybe wanted for questioning, and there is charged. Like this person has been charged with a crime, and then beyond that, there's a warrant which you can issue for someone's arrest. So there's all these terms, and they mean something. So if the police are just looking for someone, they might not necessarily be yet charged with a crime. They might just want to talk to that person. Now, originally, we had heard from Ramula, from Secretary Ramula, who was really been spot on about the Vitali case and was the point person on the Vitali case, that they were looking for all the accomplices of Vitali. And they made a clear statement they were looking for them. However, what we didn't hear just yet was, here are the crimes. Yes, sorry, people have it here in the chat. Person of interest. Person of interest. That's a great term, right? That doesn't mean you're charged with a crime yet. But now, today, and we're gonna play the video, and thank God there's a automatic translation of this, but he is officially a wanted man, and there's proof in the pudding that he's a wanted man. Like this isn't me debating this, or this is me this is me stating a fact which we now have from the office of the president. Okay, so I'm going to read some of these super chats here, and then we're going to watch the video that directly confirms this information. A little bit of it is in Tagalog, but there's a translation in English, so English speakers, we're good. Alex Sargent says, yes, Skittle hair to blend in. Brilliant logic. I know. Robert Von Beek, thank you very much for the 20 legal mindset memberships. Appreciate that. What should we do for this one? Are
you guys enjoying the stream today?
It's such a good one. That's always going to be in the opener. Alex Chung says, as expected, a troublemaker has come to Taiwan, and I hope he can leave Taiwan as soon as possible and don't let people like him influence the kind-hearted Taiwanese people from Taiwan. That's one of the reasons why I want to do this stream. So, Alex, thank you for messaging, and you are one of the reasons why I want to do this stream. Not you specifically, but I know I have a ton of viewers in Taiwan. It's actually really interesting. I've been reached out by many expats in Taiwan that have said, thank you for what you're doing, or I want to meet you if you come here, or let me know when you come to Taiwan. It is not just one, it's over a dozen. And that's very interesting because of all the countries, Taiwan doesn't immediately pop up in your head as a big expat country or a country where there's a lot of folks that would be watching my content. I'm very pleased about that. But one thing I wanted to get out there was, well, now Taiwanese authorities can, of course, be alerted that they have a wanted person, a wanted criminal that is in their jurisdiction. And once again, as I've said with immigration law, he's there on a tourist visa and he's not a permanent resident or a citizen of Taiwan. If you are not a permanent resident or a citizen, you really have no rights as to be in that country, as to remain in that country. So if any point, if the country chooses to eject you from that country, deport you from that country, send you back, they can do that, right? Because you do not have an absolute right to be there. Therefore, I'm sure that if Taiwanese folks were told this information, perhaps they might be interested in that, right? That might be something they might want to look into. The folks in Taiwan obviously can keep an eye on this and, maybe forward this on to the appropriate folks over there in Taiwan. Get the word out. King Lucia for 20 Legal Mindset memberships. Thank you so much.
Emotional damage.
Woo, says for 10, to make RKI's Discord cope and seethe. The crazy thing is, guys, that Ramsey Khalid Ismail, Johnny Somali, has now turned into this fervent pro-Vitali supporter. So him and his people are all pro-Vitali. They've gotten on this pro-Vitali bandwagon, this very kind of niche movement that really doesn't have any coherent arguments except for, but my free speech. And we've debunked that on this channel multiple times. Criminal activity is never free speech, to the extent that many of these things would be criminal clearly in all jurisdictions. Stuff like taking a gun from somebody. If you took a gun from a law enforcement officer in the United States, not only would you probably be shot, but that would definitely be a very serious crime. So these aren't jokes. You don't joke around with things like that pretty much anywhere. I would say. Taco World says, sup from Australia. Hope I'm not late. You're just on time. Dave said, your coverage on this in Somalia has been amazing. Thank you. Hey, appreciate that. Thank you. And if you ever want to support the team, you can go over to Ko-Fi/Andrew Esquire. I'll drop that in the chat and just help support the team. But thank you for supporting me right here. Appreciate that. Rigo says, morning all. Just want to say, keep it up. And I have some catching up to do on the VODs. Enjoy the gold. Thank you. Warren A says, na, 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 na. Na 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 na, hey hey hey, goodbye nuisance streamers. That's my karaoke for the day. That's my karaoke for the day. I am not winning any competitions, but I try. Phoenix says, for 10, if there's a warrant for Sly's arrest, isn't Sly being in Taiwan a criminal act on his visa that entering the country? Well, remember, you usually enter on what they call a visa waiver or a visa exemption. So you actually don't require a visa to visit these countries for a short period of time. Let's look up Taiwan's, let's see, tourist policy, Philippines. Let's look how long it is. Let's see how long he can hang out there. 14 days. 14 days. So Taiwan has a visa-free entry for Philippine citizens, allowing them to stay for 14 days without a visa. So that means you are there without having to apply for a visa or anything. You're just there for a little bit of time. So Sly now has 14 days to figure it out because he's going to have to come home and face the music when he lands in the airport back in the Philippines. So he's going to know, and people are going to know. And the word is going to get out there that he's been trying to evade justice. And when he comes back, well, he's going to have to find out. And we'll see if he tries to run to another country. But here's the thing I want to get out here. I want to let other countries like Japan, Korea, Thailand, Vietnam, anywhere else he would run, Indonesia. I want those countries to know this guy is on the run. This guy is on the run. And I think that will help a lot to get that word out there. Because remember, if the immigration authorities find out that you have a criminal history and you're on the run, they can send you, they can deny you easily. They did that with World of T-shirts, and they need to increasingly do that with more people. I think that is the best thing that can happen, is to just deny these people at the border and just say, nope, you're not allowed in. Rayobi said, also, RKI was crashing on an X about you. Yeah, dude. He's crashing out about me every 2 seconds. I mean, he threatened to stab me with a HIV needle. So once again, this guy is absolutely deranged, but that means I'm doing effective work. And in fact, it's so effective, I'm going to have a very big interview coming up very soon, a very big interview. So I'm going to tell you about that after it happens. I don't want to spoil it, but I'm having a huge interview on Somali very soon. So stay tuned for that. And it's because Ramsey knows that I'm so effective at covering this issue and people are using my information that he wants to silence me. They want to spread false information. They want to defame me. But I don't let any of it bother me. You talk about Ricada, Nexus, all this stuff. Yeah, I don't let any detractors really bring me down. That's one thing that I've tried to learn on YouTube, is that you really can't let these people bother you. You have to keep doing your job. Keep getting the information out there. And we're winning. The thing is, we are winning. We're absolutely winning. The table is turning on these people, and they feel it. It's only because they feel the pressure that we are putting on them that they push back this hard. If we were not making an impact, they wouldn't care. They would ignore it, right? They wouldn't even pay attention to it. But because they are so fixated, and because they know their date is coming, JP said it right here, May 16th is actually the date of his next court date, which is coming up soon. They're feeling that pressure of what's going to happen on May 16th. And Ramsey is trying to get some of his charges dropped in that case. That's not going to happen. He knows that. And that's because the pressure that we are putting on him, that me and the fellow members of the Somali conviction team are putting on him. And all of you have helped support that. So you guys have had a real piece in convicting these nuisance streamers. And you should really honestly be proud of that. Marshall J. Cooper says, RKI thinks... Sorry. There's been a lot of stuff going on with Hank and let's just say there's been a lot of stuff going on with Hank and Somali. I'll just do a little preview here and well, let's see which one is family friendly. This is sort of family friendly. We'll pull this one up. We'll full screen this one. Can I do that? Okay, here we go. So in case you guys don't know, and we're going to talk about this tomorrow. Hank and Johnny over there in Korea have been having a bit of a time. I'll just summarize it with this. You might need some eye bleach after this, but this is just an appetizer of what was going on that night with Ramsey and with Hank over there in Korea. So, of course, the most wholesome of folks become nuisance streamers. All right, Russ McClay, 10. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. King Conda. So keep up the good work and keep him locked up. Yep, I will. Phoenix says, you're so effective that you clearly gotten under RKI's thin skin. Yes. Looks like he's suffering the emotional cabbage of his design. We have hit a knot because he knows that I am the source of information on him, and also because we're monetizing it in a way he can't. He hasn't been able to monetize on YouTube yet. He's pretty much not getting anything from other platforms, and he's mad about that. He's very mad about that. He's mad that he's pretty much gotten me a Bugatti pretty much in positive coverage, when in negative coverage he didn't get any return. In fact, he's in the red. He's having to borrow. Okay. Lunginese says, how is Sly able to leave the country? Wasn't his passport flagged? Sorry, it's catching up now. It's been a crazy week. Okay. Here's my hypothesis. We're going to play the video in a second, but I'm going to answer this question. My hypothesis is that they were investigating him and they didn't press the formal charge until around about when he left, and he may have gotten word of it or heard about it, or maybe, this is actually more important, the police contacted him and said, we want you to come in and we want to talk to you. And when he got that call, he freaked out and he left. And then they pressed a formal charge. So at the time he hit the airport, he probably wasn't formally charged. That's my thought. Or at least it hadn't gotten linked into the immigration system. Also, you got to understand this. Sometimes it takes a while for the charges to get linked into the immigration system. That can happen in many countries. So, many times if someone committed a crime, at 8 a.m., it might not be tied into immigration if they left at 8:01, right? So these things can happen. No Name says, I just puked a little in my mouth. Thank you. You're welcome. Ryobi says, why do Dante and Vitali's cameraman trying to look like two dudes who got arrested in prison for kidnapping in Cambodia? Oh, I haven't seen that yet. Like Dante is just asking to be caught by the authorities. He does stand out. Barry Bryant says, keep up the good work for you and your team. Great to see a video without clickbait. Hey, this is 100% accurate, not clickbait. Tenya became a new member. Welcome, Tenya. Manachance is obligatory disgusting for the RKI clip. Ruthless Mindset. I am ruthless sometimes when it comes to nuisance streamers. Will the Philippines issue an international arrest warrant? Does Thailand extradite? They probably will just let him come back. The easiest thing is just, he only has 14 days. So, if this is the 14 days he gets before he sits in jail with Vitali for 2 to 3 years, waiting for just his trial, let him have the 14 days. Let him enjoy those 14 days before he has to come back and, sit in jail. John S. 5 says, emotional damage. Thank you. We'll do that one real quick.
Emotional damage.
All right, without further ado, let's get to the video that pretty much confirms all this. So this is a video with the PCO Undersecretary Clara Castro. So this is from the presidential office. So this is not this is a palace press briefing, as they call it. This is a official briefing. So this is not me saying this. This is not me making this up. This is not me, coming up with some theory. These are all the official statements and words of the undersecretary, right? So let's just go here. This is the relevant part of the press briefing.
Medyo release na po ng kaunti. Just recently, nagkaroon ng statement si Pangulong Marcos tungkol doon sa Russian-American vlogger na si Vitali. Any update doon sa nagsisilbing videographer niya, since ang sinasabi din naman ng mga otoridad, meron ding liability yung kanyang videographer. Any update na po tungkol doon?
Tama po kayo,
So,
hindi po nagustuhan.
first of all, let me just say, awesome question by that reporter, really quick, to clarify this, because this needed to be officially clarified with more specificity. So it's very important that they came in and were specific and asked a very specific question. So W, Philippines reporter, for asking the right question and being specific, right? Specific.
Ng Pangulo ang ginawa ng ito na isang Russian vlogger dito pa sa bansa at dito sa ating mga kababayan. Kaya nagkaroon din po, ngayon po ay humaharap sa kaso itong Russian vlogger ng mga kasong unjust vexation, alarms and scandal, theft, and attempted theft. Pero para po dito sa sinasabing videographer or cameraman po, nakasama po ni Vitaly, ngayon po ay nasampahan po siya, ayon po sa PNP, nasampahan na po siya ng kaso. Itong si Christopher Dantes, alias Sly Kane.
Okay, so there we go. And it's Sly Kane. I think she says Sky Lane, but it's Sly Kane. But she says his name. So there can be no confusion, right? There can be zero confusion. And she's being very specific about what's happening here. So saying this person specifically, once again, this is coming from the presidential office, right? Not me. It's coming from the presidential office saying we're charging this guy, right? So let me rewind it just a little bit here because I want to have that repeated a little bit. Okay? So this is a very important part here.
Maharap sa kaso itong Russian vlogger ng mga kasong unjust vexation,
Vitali is
scandal,
charged.
theft, and attempted theft. Pero para po dito sa sinasabing videographer or cameraman po, nakasama po ni Vitaly. Ngayon po ay nasampahan po siya, ayon po sa PNP,
So see those words right there. Now he has been charged. There's what I was looking for. These are the words, right? Now he has been charged. Those are very specific words. You don't say those words unless there's a criminal charge. So right now it is criminal charge, right? It is he's got criminal charges against him. He's a wanted man, right? Bingo. I don't need to say anything. They said it, right? It's right here. So everybody, and there was so much cope from Sly Kane saying, oh, I got nothing against me. I got nothing against me. Argue with the presidential office. Call the presidential office and argue with them if you want to argue with this. You know, he was talking a whole lot of smack, saying he was going to sue me for defamation. He was going to come after me. But who's the one who's facing criminal penalties right now, buddy? Yeah, that's you. That's you, right? That's you. Let's continue here.
Nasampahan na po siya ng kaso. Itong si Christopher Dantes, alias Sky Lane. Nasampahan po siya ng kasong unjust vexation.
So first charge, he is charged with unjust vexation. That's the same charge Vitali has. So he's charged with in an equal capacity to Vitali in unjust vexation.
In relation to RA 10175 and RA 995 at saka.
So I'm going to pull up those two statutes, RA 10175 and RA 995. So I'm going to pull those up in a second once this finishes, but I want to let this finish first. But just so you know, those are also criminal statutes. So those are two more criminal statutes that he has been hit with.
Po Anti-Photo and Video Voyeurism Act. Yan po ang latest po mula sa PNP.
Just to give us an idea, Yusek, ano po ba yung pwedeng maging kaparusahan doon sa mga kasong naisampa dito kay Christopher?
Sa aking pagkakaalam, unjust vexation malamang po ay mga 30 days na imprisonment or fine. Tignan na lang po natin kung gaano ba ang magiging lalim ng mga ebidensya para malaman din natin at matetermina kung anong klaseng parusa kung sila naman po ay magiging makukonsidered na liable or guilty.
So since nasampahan na siya ng kaso, Yusek, anytime pwede na lumabas yung arrest warrant?
Hindi pa po, kasasampa pa lang po ng
Kasasampa
kaso.
pa lang.
Bibigyan po. Okay, tayo po. Sa administrasyon po ni Pangulong Marcos, ang lahat po ay binibigyan ng karapatang magdepensa. For them to exercise the right to due process. Hindi po ito babalawalain ng pamahalaan, lalong-lalo na po sa pamumuno ni Pangulong Marcos. Importante po ang due process sa mga Pilipino.
Next.
Okay, so that's a question right there. So, okay, yeah, he still gets due process, is what it's saying. Like, he doesn't waive his rights to a good process. By the way, Philippines press is super well-mannered. I want to say, someone said in the chat, like, the press is very well-behaved. Compared to, like, American press, which is a mess, they're, like, yelling and screaming and shouting and they're rude. Like, Philippines press is, like, very organized. I actually really appreciate that. Versus the chaos, the zoo of the American, presidential press room. And that's under any administration. It's just always a mess in America. But anyways, of course, and I will say this too, everybody deserves due process. That's fine. And he is granted due process, which means he gets to go to court and plead his case. But to be honest, I don't think he has much of a case because the problem with these nuisance streamers is they record themselves. So all of the evidence is right there in front of the judge, the jury, whoever is looking at the case. So there's not much to argue with because it's all on camera. It's all on camera. So what are you going to argue with? But, hey, you're allowed the right. You can try. If you want to argue, argue. But speaking of which, Alex dropped a giant 50 legal mindset memberships. Whoa, buddy.
Emotional cabbage.
Thank you for that, Alex. That big 50. Thank you. If you received a gift membership, say thank you to Alex. Because if you just got it, it probably came from him. Lobot became a new member. Sean Murph became a new member. Thank you so much. Also, let's see. Angel Chase, who is a Philippines law student. Says, I disagree with the attempted theft charge of Vitali. It should have been grave threat. He threatened the old lady. That's quite frustrating. Yeah, I love this though. This is what lawyers around the world think about. And this is why I know you're an aspiring lawyer, because we're always thinking, what's the best charge? What's the best thing to bring? And, sometimes the best thing to bring doesn't match up with the evidence. And sometimes there's a reason why they want to bring one thing versus another. Maybe it might be easier to prove. So they're like, oh, well, we're going to prove this because it's easier and we have clear evidence, et cetera, et cetera. So there could have been some reason why they brought it. But, if you say so, I would love to hear more explanation on why they should have brought that. Maybe we can talk about that on a future episode. But I think that's a cool lawyer point. Edward Bental says, are there other countries Sly Kane could go to or come back to Manila? And if so, how long could he stay away from the Philippines? Finally, could he plea in Manila Bay? No rivers in Manila? I don't know what you're getting about with Manila Bay, but he could go to other countries. So he could leave and try to go to Vietnam or Thailand or Indonesia or Laos or Cambodia or wherever, right? Any place where the Philippines has. Let's look at this. Like which countries have Philippines visa-free entry, right? There's probably a lot. Yeah, there's a lot. So you could go to a lot of countries: Andorra, Angola, Antigua, Argentina, Australia, Austria, Bahamas, Bahrain, Barbados, Belgium, Belize, all the way down to Vietnam, Zambia, and Zimbabwe. But that said, is he going to have the funds to go to all those? And at what point are countries going to get wise to this, especially with this coverage and especially with the amazing Philippine community around the world that's going to inform law enforcement that, hey, this guy is in the country and he shouldn't be. Like, for example, Gary Lee. Gary Lee wrote here, he can visa-free travel to Singapore, Thailand, Taiwan, Indonesia, Malaysia, Hong Kong, Macau, Myanmar, Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia, Brunei, Fiji, and Israel. If the Singaporean government found out that they had a wanted criminal, do you think they're light on crime? Like that they're very easy on crime? Think about Israel too. Israel, who just kicked out Johnny Somali. Do you think if they found out that there's another person that's a nuisance streamer that, was on the same network that was hosting Johnny and, all the other nuisance streamers, do you think they're going to take kindly to that? I don't. And I'll promise you, if he ends up in Thailand, I know it's on that list, your boy over here is going to take care of that one. So there, there's going to be some consequences there, and he will eventually have to go back. Once again, he's lugging around his whole family. I don't think his whole family can stay for that long either. It's something that's not really sustainable. You're trying to, support your whole family to travel indefinitely. That's really expensive. PB0986, any info on who Vitali's legal rep is? No, we'll talk a little bit about Vitali later. I don't have that information yet, but I will look into that. Zenobia says, hey, Andrew, just tune in. What did I miss? Rewind. Rigo pretends it's kind of off topic from Italian RKI, but what's your take on Carmelo Anthony charges? Also, would you do any legal readings or trial stream? Yes, I will do trial streams if it's a big case. For that one, I definitely would. I don't have enough information to comment yet, although it seems like that one's going to be big because it's divisive. But yeah, I will cover trials, and I try to come into it with an open mind and see the evidence presented at trial and take it from there. Ricardo for NZ5 says, thought you had a mini rig, just noticed the Band-Aid. How did that happen? I was slicing a mango. So I was trying to slice a mango and I missed. So the mangoes are delicious here. If you haven't had Thai mangoes, they are really good. Alex says, I normally don't watch stuff like Ramsey Vitali throw the life away, but it's so entertaining. James Beeching says, on the day Vitali was ruining his life, Sly gave a look that he knew he was going to be in massive trouble. He said, and this is a quote, "We have broken so many laws." Not as a question, as a statement. He knew it. Michael said for 10 euros, I wonder how much weight Vitali's already lost with 70 pesos a day. Probably a lot. Also, he's not getting any sort of testosterone or steroids or anything else in jail. So, that'll cut weight. John S. says, many other lawyers, cops have given their opinion on the Carmelo Anthony. What's your take? I just answered that one. So once again, I want to see more evidence. I want to see, get more information. I have been focused on these nuisance streamers, so I haven't had a chance to do anything outside of this. I do appreciate people that want me to cover other topics, but I've been pretty focused on nuisance streamers. Asian Dragon 456 says, fleeing country need money. They don't have money. I think they have some money, but they don't have that much money. If you're going to, as a traveler, right, and I travel a lot, you're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars to be traveling to take a whole family the US dollars, right? So to have a family of like 6 traveling for like a year, like even if you're going to relatively inexpensive countries, the plane tickets alone are going to hurt you at a certain point. And especially since they don't have very large windows, they may only be able to travel for about 14 days or 30 days and then they're going to have to leave. That is very expensive. Ryobi said, it's funny how nuisance streaming got in the meta of going to foreign countries and harassing breaking laws since COVID. But now people are fighting back. Yeah, I think COVID maybe pent people up a little bit, made them go a little crazy. But now we got to push back against that. Dear World Christian said, imagine how bad the jails are that a citizen flees. Yep. Phoenix says, wouldn't it be fun if the Philippines sent Sly's picture to all the countries he could go to flag him as a wanted person who'd been charged? Not only that, they can send him all his information. They can send out a notice on Sly to all these neighboring nations, including Taiwan, because we know he's there, and say, hey, this is a person of interest, and this is someone that we have now formally charged. Can you please send it back? And, when he's on the way back, they'll, put him on that plane on the way back to the Philippines. What's the probable sentence in South Korea for Johnny Somali? Too early to say, Steve. Too early to say. I'm hoping jail time. And it's looking like jail time. How long? Too early. David says, even if a country does not have an extradition treaty with the Philippines, is there a chance they could send the cameraman back? Yes. You don't need an extradition treaty to extradite. However, it helps. Sly's using the archaic plastic boat to travel freely? No. He took a plane there. Somali and Hanky aren't helping with the allegations. No. And Crypto says, isn't Sly a dad? Imagine this kid having to hear the news. Damn. Yeah, and he should have thought about that before he committed the crimes. Ricardo for 2 New Zealand says, as a chef, tuck your fingers in. Yes, chef. Yes, chef. Yes, chef. Right? I'm thinking of The Menu or Gordon Ramsay. More like The Menu, right? Where it's like, yes, chef. I'm on it. Angel Chase said, skill difference got destroyed by a mango. Philippines mangoes are good too, by the way. I like Philippines mango as well. Very good. All right. Let's continue with this. So he got charged under these Republic Acts, and I want to bring these up real quick here. This is kind of the legal side of it, right? So here's the 2 things that were brought up that he was charged under. That is the Republic Act defining cybercrime, providing for the prevention, investigation, suppression, and imposition of penalties. That is Republic Act 10175, right? So you go down here, it talks about Cybercrime Convention. So one of them is a Cybercrime Act, and I think that's appropriate because, of course, there were indeed cybercrimes that were committed here with this. So I think that's an appropriate that's an appropriate anchor. Now, I know they talked about strengthening their cybercrime law, but if they're willing to pursue it, that means they feel they have enough evidence to charge them under the cybercrime statute. The other statute, which is interesting, is RA 9995. And this one appears to be a statute, once again, this is reading the title, defining and penalizing the crime of photo and video voyeurism and prescribing the penalties thereof and for other purposes. So this would appear the Anti-Photo and Video Voyeurism Act of 2009. So in the world of law, any law that came out in the last 20 years is new. So this is a new law. This is a new law. So it probably takes into account the fact that video and photos can be transmitted over the internet, right? And it even has the word internet in it, so it knows the internet exists. Like a lot of the older laws are pre-internet, so they've got that in it. So talking about taking photos without people's consent, transmitting them. And, in this case, what really can be layered on and what a lot of countries can add to these statutes and acts is they can add a line that says if they are doing this and profiting off of it. So if they're doing this plus making money, then it should be even worse of a crime. I'm in support of that. Now, this statute doesn't appear to have that, but I would be in full support of making money off of photo and video, making the crime worse, because that will really help in deterring nuisance streamers. So that is the second one as well. And then I believe unjust vexation, he was also charged with as a third. That I don't think that's a specific statute. At least she didn't give a statute. She just put that in common law. Now, even if it's 30 days, I think that's great. But the other thing would be he's got to wait for trial. And if he's got a similar wait for trial as Vitali, well, that's kind of a thing, isn't it? QB says they can run, but they can't hide well. They will eventually go broke and get caught. The prison system is waiting to stretch them out. Indeed, indeed. Robert Von Beek for 6 says, can't he stay longer somewhere by border hopping like tourists do with... No. So many countries... so, for example, I'm in Thailand, right? You cannot do that indefinitely. These systems are digitized. Even Thailand's system is digitized now. So you can go over the border and back up to a certain amount. There's a limit. So usually for most countries, that's about 6 months. So, for example, in Japan, you can go into the country for 3 months, hang out, have a great time, leave the country, come back, get another 3 months. So you effectively have 6 months. But that's it. If you tried to come back in again to stay past that 6 months, they would deny you. They would say you've used up your time, right? Now, some people do what's called overstay. And that is when they go to a country and they essentially go dark. They disappear. They just go to the mattress, right? And they hide out in a country and they stay there forever. That happens a lot. I see that in Thailand here, where they catch people that have been here for 20 years, 15 years, 10 years, and they really were supposed to be here for 90 days or 60 days or 30 days. And they just overstay. It's called visa overstay. What is happening now with these people is they are permanently banned from the country, or they're banned from the country for a very long time. So if somebody was to overstay here for 20 years, they'd pretty much be in Thailand. They'd pretty much be permanently banned from the country. That's what I've seen happen. Just reading the newspaper very recently, there's been people that's happened to. So these options that used to exist, I know a lot of people think it's easy to quote unquote hide out, but it's not that easy it's not that easy to hide out in countries anymore because the systems are digitized. Angel Chase says, why that law? It's not a sexual act. See section 4. It's interesting. So Angel Chase, we can, what I want to do, give me some more information on this. You have my email, shoot me an email, and let's get into it. And maybe we can put together, are these charges the right charges? I think that'd be really good. Let's talk by email, because I think that'd be a good episode. I'm keeping this one a little short, but thank you. This is the really good point. And once again, this is the thing about people that are in law school and lawyers. I love being challenged and people bringing up other points. If they're doing it in a respectful way and they're kind of talking about the law, like that's totally cool. And that's something that I really appreciate about my viewers is they've got the ability to bring up the law. They've got the ability to bring up different arguments. And you guys are so much higher IQ than the Vitali or Ramsey Khalid Ismail viewers that are absolutely brain dead. Sean Murph says, got introduced to law streamers with Ricada, then Rick James stuff, and found you with the coverage of Smalley. Awesome. Great stuff. First YouTube membership. Hope these guys get the book. Thank you so much. Appreciate that support. I'm glad that you're here, and I'm glad you found my way to your channel. It's been a really crazy road to grow, but we're at, and thank you for everybody getting me to 240K subscribers. It's been amazing, and I'm kind of on these topics until justice is served. Rigo says, cut yourself a cutting food. I'll give you some advice I got a long time ago. Get good, scrub. Guys are just dunking on me for this mango thing. Urix Serening at Gin Blade says, for 50 Norwegian krona, hey man, I don't know if I can trust a lawyer that gets defeated by a mango. Right now.
Emotional damage.
I'm taking big emotional damage from this mango. Bad News Badger for 20 says, can Sky Lane plead insanity? No, he cannot. Weird says, apparently Call of Cthulhu is big in Japan. Really? I didn't know that. Alex says for 5, a Canadian. For the video and photo voyeurism, I wonder if they have something along the sex offender registry and for how long. It's interesting because I'm wondering upon what lines they're considering it sexual and what is sexual. I want to see more and think more about that charge because why are people spamming mangoes in the chat? Why are people spamming mangoes in the chat? It's distracting. But anyways, I want to see more information on the charges themselves and get into that specifically, and go a little bit deeper on those on the charges themselves. Let's see here. But what I want to put out here for you guys, and what I want to kind of circle back to before I get some chats, and then that will be good for today, is I want to make sure that everybody looks out for this dude. If you're in Taiwan, if you're anywhere else and you see this dude, probably should let folks know, let immigration authorities know this dude wanted back in the Philippines, right? And maybe he should be sent back there to face justice, to face time over there in the Philippines. King Lugia, this is Mango Goblin. He's nuts. Thank you. Crowdside says, just be glad you don't have to cut cabbage to prepare for kimchi. That's true. Casperia says we need an emotional mango clip now. I will try. Pig Bunny. Hold on. My phone going off as an alarm. Says, thanks for the coverage. Awesome. Andre says, does Vitali, is he under a self-deletion watch? Because after seeing that he will be spending 25 years in a hole called prison, I would not be surprised if he wanted to roleplay as Hangman. He has been transferred. So one update on Vitali, and this is the final update, the final piece of news, is that he has been transferred to a high security prison. So he's been transferred to what is typically a prison for a more high profile people. So that's where he's been moved to. We're going to get more information on that. In fact, I have someone say they may even be able to get us information on the video of the inside of the prison. So they may be able to see the inside of the actual prison that Vitali is in. So we're going to get new footage of the prison where Vitali is, the actual prison. So stay tuned for that. If we can get that, that will be awesome. Traveling FTW says RA9995 can also apply to videos taken without consent or where a person has reasonable expectation of privacy. Oh, there we go. Okay, so it's a violation of your expectation of privacy, which he definitely was doing. Ryobi said nuisance streamers just had to do one thing. Shut up. Niji told him so. Well, the thing is, look, if they were just not breaking the law, people probably wouldn't care. But they went and broke the law. And now everything that they broke is going to be thrown against them. Versus they may have gotten off with stuff. Pet the Kitty says, pet a kitty or I will sue you. I think I pet a kitty last week, so I think my kitty karma's in. Marshall Jed Cooper says, long law mango says juices is as juices does. Sorry, juices is as juices does. All right, on that note, that's what I got for today. Appreciate all y'all. Take care, guys. And I will catch you all on the next one as both Vitali and his cameraman, Christopher P. Dantes.
You are coping the ceiling. You just can't believe what you're seeing. It's you coping the ceiling. truth, it is all day, and now you are more than